So in my last video, we talked about my favorite sound in the entire world, the Fender Rhodes. But last week, something really unexpected happened. While scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, I came across a really odd listing. It was simply titled Piano. No model name, no details. And the description said something like, it's loud. In the photos, a Wurlitzer 200. Now, Wurlitzers have always been kind of an instrument that I admired from a distance. They have an incredibly cool sound that's made its way into a lot of music in history, but just never really found a home in the stuff that I write. I've always thought that it would be nice to own one day, but I don't really actively chase them down. This felt a little different. The listing had only been up for a few minutes and I sent a message right away. Psst. Shh. I offered a little extra money to make sure I had a shot, and I met the seller the following morning. For those of you who know me, yes, it's really weird that I did anything in a morning. Suddenly I was loading a Wurlitzer 200 into the back of my car. Honestly, kind of hard to believe. Things have been really busy around here lately, so I wasn't really looking for another project. So when I finally got it home, it's been kind of sitting around this Airbnb for a week and some change. But I figured you and I could take a look at this today. So overall, looks kind of decent from the outside, but it really does need a lot of attention. Nothing catastrophic, but it's certainly dirty, a little neglected, and in need of some cleanup. The legs were pretty rusty, but I was thankful that they were included. Unfortunately, I didn't get a sustain pedal with this. My wife got a bit of a head start cleaning these legs with a little bit of Barkeeper's Friend, and then a couple of nights later I went back for kind of round two because there was so much rust on the bottom and whatever else. I made some progress, but I think there's still some effort to go. But today we're going to open it up and see what's inside for the first time. Just looking at it from the outside, I bet we're going to see just another dusty old keyboard. Probably debris and the kind of grime that just builds up over decades. In other words, just normal keyboard stuff. So that's where this video really begins. Today I want to start getting it a little cleaned up, put the legs back on, inspect the action and the mechanics, and figure out what kind of shape this Wurly is really in. Full disclosure, I've never owned a Wurly, so I certainly don't know the insides like I do a Fender Rhodes. So if you're watching this, you and I are going to be learning together. The outside of the case will need some basic cleaning, probably soap and water at first, maybe some protectant later. The faceplate is in decent shape, but the glue on the back is kind of peeling just from it being dried out over time. But really, before worrying about cosmetics so much, I really want to get this apart and see what the insides are looking like, because you know, I'm actually still on the edge of whether or not I want to keep this keyboard or get it to the right home. I have so many projects open right now that I actually don't really need another one unless this is going to be easy to tackle. So first, let's vacuum it out. We'll inspect some of the components and see what kind of surprises are in there. For now, let's put the legs on, get it standing, and see what I actually bought. I took the faceplate off and worked it a little bit. Like I was saying, it had some really dried out adhesive. So I tackled some of the light stuff with soap and water. I tackled the harder stuff with Goo Gone. And I think I'm actually going to need another couple of rounds of doing that, simply because I can't seem to get all of the old adhesive off after 2 tries with the Goo Gone. There's also adhesive on the plastic top, and I'm not really sure how I want to approach that yet. So if anybody's dealt with this before, please send me a note in the comments. I'd love to know what you know. At first glance, I see what I thought I'd see. Grime, dust, debris, etc. I took the vacuum to this to get the majority of the dust and the hair and whatever else out, but I avoided some of the electronic components due to static. One of the first things I'm noticing when I'm looking at this is the unevenness of the key bed. You can see a couple of keys sticking up, making the keyboard effectively not flat all the way across. My hope is that maybe there's some sort of felt set or something that helps level this easily, but we're going to find that out together too. The keyboard seems more or less in tune, and each key seems to have the same action and works chromatically up the keyboard. The speakers are certainly working, which is a huge plus. Don't really want to deal with those if I don't have to, but I also have to wonder how the 1/4-inch connection is working. see in here how grimy and crappy that is. There's just so much stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum, pull these keys out and vacuum all this out. Okay, so I did a first pass with trying to clean some of this out. It looks like I'm going to need to do probably a couple other passes as well. Just there's so much. I mean, I got out a roach carcass, some like a whole dog full of hair basically, and it's going to require a lot of cleaning. I'm actually going to go at this next with a toothbrush and then do another run with this vacuum though. You know, the hardest part about doing any of this right now is like I have no tools because they're all packed away in a storage unit, although I did find a screwdriver just a few ago. And although I have a vacuum available to me, it doesn't have one of the attachments that makes it a little easier to get into tighter places. So I probably am going to have to do a little bit extra work. But let me kind of show you some of the things that I found already. I'm not really able to get this far in the piano just yet, but these felts all look to be in pretty good shape all the way through the piano. I was watching some videos about these screws in here. I think they're called jack screws. And I'm glad to see that they're all there, looking all in pretty good shape, but I bet there's going to be some sort of like some action maintenance to be done with those. So the first thing I notice here is that all these felts, I kind of expected these to be here and I was hoping that they were going to be here. These all look like they're in good shape, but if I can replace them all so that they're all even again, all of the action all the way up through the keyboard, well, I'm sure will be better. Okay, for now, I think I'm going to take another part of this off so that I can clean a little bit underneath. I see that you can take basically this whole whatever fixture out. The only thing that I'm a little worried about with that is that I see that there's a bunch of these paper shims in there, which is fine. They're probably going to need to be replaced, but I'm sure that they're really cheap. But it'll allow me to get just a little bit cleaner. But I think what I'm going to do for now is clean this piano, put it back together, start making a list of parts that I think it needs, which to be honest with you is at this point mostly things like felts and cosmetic stuff. I haven't seen anything electrical that really bothers me so far. But I'll do that. I'll put together kind of a spreadsheet and then we're going to come back and talk about this piano in a part 2 and figure out how to do this work, if I'm going to do most of this work or not, like what's reasonable to do, what it's going to cost to get these parts in, what kind of time that I'm going to need to do it, and kind of see where this piano leads us. Like I'm surprised at how good a shape it's in so far, especially electrically speaking, which obviously I know nothing about, but I mean, everything works. It seems like everything is more or less in tune. I'm not having weird static issues really, or, you know, hums or things like that. But, you know, there's things about this piano that don't really bother me as much in terms of like the cosmetic side of things. Like the keys, you know, they have some cracks in them. They're pretty yellow, but I'm not that bothered about them other than, you know, I'm probably going to use some sort of like disinfecting wipe on them when I put them back into place, just so that I know that I'm touching something clean. But I can't believe how good of shape that this is in currently. Please, though, if you do know about Wurlitzers and you're seeing something in these videos that you might want to call out to me, please do put it in the comments down below. I'd really love to hear from people who have actually dealt with this stuff before. You know, I know that there's the potential for something like this of doing like capacitor replacement, and you know, there's tons of things like that too. I don't know enough about that to know if I'm in the place to need it. But again, so far, I'm not really hearing electrical issues that I would expect. Thanks so much for checking this out, and you know, what a wild ride. It was certainly something I obviously didn't expect at all, and I guess when these kind of moments come on, you just hop on for the adventure and see what happens. If you can do me a favor, please like and subscribe. It's really helping out my channel. We grew a lot last month, which I really enjoyed. Thank you so much. And also, I don't know if you've seen down in the description, but I've started putting some Amazon affiliate links in there that help out this channel at least a little bit. I really appreciate all the support and you know, all the people who are writing comments all the time. I love answering each and every one of them, but looking forward to doing this next step with you guys. See you on the next one.